Is this thing on? Hey everybody, it's Trainer Joe with Trainer Joe's Health and Weight Loss. Today we're talking about how to be busy and healthy. Busy and healthy. Can you do both? Be busy and healthy. Well, certainly when you get busy, it gets harder, right? It gets harder to do all the things you want to do. You got so many things going on you're trying to juggle. It's tricky. It's difficult. It's challenging. But eventually, we look 5 years down the road, aren't you going to regret it if you didn't find time to be healthy? Do you have time for a heart attack? I mean, look, we got to begin to look at this realistically. What do you have time for? You're going to justify one thing or the other. You're going to justify finding time to exercise and eat better, or you're going to justify not. And basically, you're justifying whatever that gives you. And if it's a heart attack, it looks kind of silly. Saying, well, I didn't have time to do the things that would have prevented this and made me live longer. You know, you can be, if you're the normal, basically not very healthy American, you can be, I don't care how old you are, you can be healthier and stronger 5 years from now. Because look what you do now. Imagine if you started eating good and exercising. I mean, you're going to feel better than you do today 5 years from now. I was listening to a preacher one time, and he said something that I think applies here. He said he had gotten really busy, and he was concerned that he wasn't doing what God wanted him to do. And he said, you know what? God impressed upon me or spoke to me or something like that. He said, I felt like he was telling me, Dennis, I'm not Dennis, that was Dennis. Dennis, you have time to obey me. If it's the right thing for you to exercise and eat right, then you have time. Sorry about the interruption. I didn't know a phone call would do that. My apologies. We'll try this again. When you begin to tell yourself the truth, this gets easier. The truth is, we do what we want to do, right? I mean, typically, that's how things work. The truth is, if you exercise, you're going to feel better. The truth is, you'll live longer and have a more abundant life. The truth is, your kids are going to see you exercising and realize, wow, that's important, and it's important to them too. The truth is, the recital's important. We find time to do those things. Certain things we find time to do. Well, this is important too, maybe just as important as going to the recital. And that's important. You want to do the things for your kids. But they also want you to be there later, right? I'm working really hard and making money, and you need that, but they also want you to be there when they are adults and not dead. I mean, this is just reality. And another thing, a lot of times people think, well, I've got to eat healthy. I don't have time to cook. I need to eat out. I don't have time to make wise decisions. And really, that's usually a real cop-out. Because when you sit down to eat, there's almost always a healthy option. Don't tell me there's not. Let's say you go to a Mexican restaurant and you're going to have fajitas. The problem is not fajitas. That's grilled chicken and peppers and onions. Very few people think there's a problem with that. There's not. If you're a vegetarian, that's different, but you're not. Let's assume you're not. So eat the fajitas. Well, I had the chips and the queso and 2 beers or 2 Dr. Peppers and refried beans. And well, you didn't need to eat that. Not eating crap doesn't take any time. Right? Choosing not to eat the crap and drink the sugary drinks or the beer, that doesn't take any time. But it takes you being determined to do without the fun. You want to wear that fun if you're going to eat it. Eat the healthy stuff. Anytime you sit down, you've got options. You don't have to eat the French fries just because they came with the burger. You get the picture. And with exercise, if it's really hard for you, you may just have to make it a standard. Just like in the military. They don't say, hey, soldiers, we're going to exercise when you feel like it or have time, because they wouldn't be ready. And you're not going to be ready if you don't make the time to be healthy. So quit with all the lame excuses, because they're usually lame. We just got to decide it's important and we do it. Do it first or do it last. Do it in the morning or do it when you get home from work. When our kids were small, after I would get home from a long, hard day's work, we'd say, okay, everybody get in the car and let's go to the athletic club and exercise and play racquetball. We didn't do movie and pizza. We did, hey, this is important enough to make it part of our day on a regular basis. So, that cover it? And I've got a couple of things that I would love to invite you all to. They're free. One is going to be in Louisville. Share this, please, with your Louisville friends on Saturday, June the 1st from 10 to noon at the Blankenbaker that happens to be on Blankenbaker Lane. That's June 1st. And then another one here in Lexington at Keller Williams. It's going to be free at the Keller Williams office on Harrodsburg Road, Tuesday, June the 4th from noon to 2. Everybody is invited to both of those, and they're free. You'll love it. It'll change your life. I'm Trainer Joe, your guide to a healthier, thinner you. Have a great week.